Wow. All right, trade deadline, baby. The Minnesota Vikings just made a move. I absolutely love it. They just sent a 2023 second round pick and 2024 third round pick to Detroit for TJ Hawkinson, a 2023 fourth round pick, and a 2024 fourth round pick. So, yeah, I guess you gave up a second round pick. However, you're really not moving too far back into the draft. This is a position that I felt like the Minnesota Vikings really needed, especially with Irv Smith Jr. out multiple weeks with a high ankle sprain. We know that Minnesota has a bunch of talent on the offense. However, I haven't really seen it to its fullest potential, right? We have barely even scratched the surface of the potential that Minnesota has on the offensive end. Irv Smith Jr. is out multiple weeks with a high ankle sprain. Well, I didn't really feel too great about Minnesota heading into the rest of the season with Irv as your tight end number one. I felt like maybe they didn't need to necessarily go out and get TJ. However, I felt like anything they could do to either add more depth or bolster the tight end room definitely helps them out. TJ Hawkinson is an absolute dog. I'm seeing way too much slack of him on Twitter. I really do not get it, and I think Nick Olson NFL really sums it up perfectly. Here's the tweet or quote. I loved Hawkinson coming out of Iowa. He's a very good inline tight end with the versatility to make your offense much more multiple and explosive, similar to George Kittle and Shanahan's offense. Excellent pickup just to move down from a second to a fourth. So I fully agree with that. TJ this season, first off, it's kind of crazy Detroit just traded TJ to a division rival for essentially a couple pick swaps. I get Detroit is 1-6. It's just, I'm honestly really surprised that, that's just kind of, that's something you don't do. Traded to a division rival. So I guess Detroit isn't competitive, and it wasn't a huge deal to him. But TJ made a Pro Bowl just 3 seasons ago where he played and started in every game. He had 67 receptions. It's a lot. 723 yards, 6 touchdowns, and like I said, he made that Pro Bowl. And so far this season, with Jared Goff under center, he's also doing good. 26 receptions, 395 yards with 3 touchdowns. So basically he's averaging a career high 15.2 yards per reception. I mean, this is a money move for Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to continue to make more moves, whether that is the defensive backs, defensive tackle. I wouldn't be shocked if they made a move at wide receiver. However, you know what? I mean, actually, I saw on Twitter yesterday, Brandon Cooks liked some random Vikings fan page's tweet about how the Vikings should trade for him. I mean, if Minnesota even just stood pat here with this TJ trade, I still think it's a huge upgrade. I still think they had a great trade deadline. There could be some holes they fill out on the defense, but it's funny because one of my buddies let me know that Brandon Cooks just liked a tweet that the Vikings should trade for him last night, and I was playing Call of Duty, and so I was like in this search and destroy lobby with these Vikings fans, and they were talking about how reliable of a receiver Adam Thielen is, and I was listening to this. I'm like, whoa, hold on, I just saw that. I agree, Adam Thielen is a very consistent wide receiver. Brandon Cooks probably elevates your offense a whole nother level, just like TJ does. We haven't seen Kirk throw for over 300 on the season. I mean, you have Dalvin Cook, you have the best receiver in the league, and now you have one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the entire football league. Like, this is a really high-potential offense. A very high-potential offense. My questions come in more defensively. Even though the offense hasn't been firing in all cylinders and not all the victories are necessarily pretty, a lot of ugly wins, but a win is a win. I'll take a win even if it's ugly. I'm not too specific about what kind of win I need. Obviously, you would love a nice shutout victory on the road or at home, but a win is a win, and Minnesota's standing at 6-1. I mean, you're standing at 6-1. The Bears are no threat to me in the division. Green Bay's the only possible threat. If you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know what fan I am. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I'm a goddamn cheesehead making this Vikings hype video right now because what they're doing, especially what they're doing for Kevin, it's just really cool to see. It's something I have not seen from Minnesota in a long time or possibly ever. I mean, the culture is there. The culture is there. These guys want to play for him so badly. They're throwing it all out on the line week to week, and they're just building up a nice culture. So whether it's this season, whether it's next season for Minnesota, they're going to be legitimate contenders. They already are legitimate contenders right now at 6-1. They just got to stay healthy. Like I said, maybe fill out a couple of holes on the defensive end, but even if they decide to just go into the rest of the season with the current unit that they have after this TJ Hawkinson trade, I mean, as a Packers fan, that puts fear into me, right? Unfortunately, the Green Bay Packers suck right now. They're like, 3-5? We just can't catch a win. So I'm more worried about how bad our team is than the Minnesota Vikings. But, if we get into that, when do the Vikings Packers play? I don't think it's the last week of the season. But, whenever that game is, let's say we're somehow tied, right? This is just a purely hypothetical, guys. Just let's say the division's tied. I would not be pleased playing the Minnesota Vikings. So Minnesota's not a team you want to play. And going to Minnesota is not a place you want to play. It's one of the best fan bases. I mean, they get loud in there. I hate playing at Minnesota. I hate it, dude. Their fans are so into it. The energy is through the roof. The players love it. The coaches love it. Everybody's just feeding energy off of each other. And as a Vikings fan, that's probably the coolest thing ever. That stadium is so freaking cool. Minneapolis in general, I mean, I've said it before. I think it's my second favorite city ever that I've ever been to in America. Number one, Chicago, where I'm from. But, it's that cool. So I got nothing but love. I got nothing but respect for Minnesota. So we'll see what they decide to do, if they're going to make another trade. We'll know actually in about 4 hours from now when the trade deadline ends. If you guys enjoy Vikings videos, I've been making a lot more of them. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show some love down below. Just give me your opinion on this trade, man. What do you think about the Vikings going out and getting TJ Hawkinson? This is, to me, and like I said, you might see some disagreements of this on Twitter, but watching TJ at Iowa, I think that this is a difference maker, and I think this could be an X factor to really elevating your offense. That was already pretty. I mean, they were pretty solid. They're more than pretty solid. It's just we hadn't seen that explosive factor. And I think with TJ last season, 61 receptions, 583 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 4 touchdowns actually. This is a guy you can just rely on. You can lean on him. So once again, that is it for today. Let me know if you want the Vikings to make any more moves if the trade deadline has yet to be passed. When you're watching this. That's it for me, man. Have a good rest of your November 1st, and I will catch you guys later.